first of all, the different grades of depression and elation. So we just call it severities. So starting with depression. The first is that when a person is mildly depressed, they feel tired, have difficulty concentrating, they're often anxious, and often the symptom of anxiousness as a feeling precedes any feeling of depression for a lot of people. And they may even have a panic attack even before they feel depressed. And the other one then is self-conscious. When a person is, so that's mild, moderate, and severe. So in a moderate depression, a person has all of the symptoms that I've described. The withdrawn state, being quiet, little to say, difficulty concentrating, finding everything a bit of an effort, everything is uphill, everything is a problem, maybe being off their food. Generally the person feels worse in the morning than they do later in the day. Typically the person's sleep will be that they're waking up repeatedly during the night and or oversleeping and or sleeping during the day. When a person comes to a severe depression, what they often have are very negative thoughts, where the negative thoughts take over and produce what we call delusions and or hallucinations. Now, it's important to remember that in a depressed state, those fixed false ideas, which delusions are, they're fixed false ideas which have no basis in reality. They're nothing more than the negative thinking that is part and parcel of a mild depression. In a mild depression, a person might feel they're not a very worthwhile person, not a very good mother or father, or maybe they'd be better off if they left the company they work for, but they do nothing about it. Moderate depression, it's more intense. The person might start making remarks to other people about these thoughts. But here, when it gets more severe, the person actually is firmly convinced of it. They'll feel they're useless, worthless people, will feel the world will be better off without them, or they may actively ask people around them, would they help them get out of this life? On the other hand, the person may feel they've got some terminal illness and just see that as a release. Now, very often, the hallucinatory experiences where a person is having voices or visions, they may, in extreme cases, just be part and parcel of that picture. But it's very important for people who have these experiences just to be open about them, because they are something that is very treatable. And again, it's nothing more than an extension of what's there in the mild and moderate form. So when we look at elation, again, it's the same phenomenon. Now, you will know that when I mentioned mild depression, I didn't say the person felt depressed, because that's the curious thing about depression. See, depression isn't actually a great word to describe depression, and it has different meanings for different people. Often a person from an emotional point of view feels more anxious than depressed. And so in a way that when a person is going into a depression, what often tends to happen is they're very anxious at this point, and then they're anxious on the way out again. But down here, it's almost as if the anxiety switches off. In other words, it's the brain's way of shutting down the awfulness of depression. Now, curiously enough, it's actually here at these points that the person is more distressed. And it's often at those points, the points of entry and exit from depression, that people are more at risk of harming themselves.